Welcome to Quicksand, the most important news in pharma and biotech this week. The FDA approved the first biosimilar to Roche's blockbuster breast and stomach cancer drug, Herceptin. Mylan and Biocon's biosimilar is called Ogivri, with the non-proprietary name trastuzumab-DKST, and follows a back and forth of delays with regulators over manufacturing issues at a plant in India. First approved in the U.S. in 1998, Herceptin had U.S. sales of more than $2 billion for the 12 months ending September 30th, 2017. FDA said Ogivri is approved for the treatment of patients with breast or metastatic stomach cancer, gastric or gastroesophageal junction adenocarcinoma, whose tumors overexpress the HER2 gene. Ogivri is the first biosimilar approved in the U.S. for the treatment of breast cancer or stomach cancer, and the second biosimilar approved in the U.S. for the treatment of cancer. The first was Amgen's Mavasi, bevacizumab-AWWB, approved in September as biosimilar to Roche's cancer treatment Avastin, though neither are interchangeable biosimilars. Both of the Avastin and Herceptin biosimilars won an FDA advisory panel's unanimous backing in July. The manufacturing issues at Biocon's India-based facility were brought to light by French regulators from an inspection in March. FDA then issued a Form 483 at the site, and the target action date for FDA approval was pushed back to December, but Biocon and Mylan said the delay would not impact commercialization. Mylan and Biocon said its Herceptin biosimilar is also under review by regulators in Australia, Canada, and others, and is already approved in 19 countries, including India. The FDA finalized guidance detailing its expectations for drug makers looking to develop generic versions of abuse-deterrent opioids. The guidance, which finalized a draft issued in March 2016, maintains that generic versions of abuse-deterrent opioids must be no less abuse-deterrent than the drug that they are referencing for all potential routes of abuse. According to guidance, this will help minimize the risk of shifting abuse to other potentially more dangerous routes. Notably, FDA has eliminated its recommendation that drug makers use a control to identify discriminatory study conditions for comparing the proposed generic to the reference listed drug, and instead says that sponsors should conduct extraction studies to compare the abuse-deterrent properties of the two drugs. FDA also says the guidance provides more detailed recommendations for conducting in vivo studies, such as comparative pharmacokinetic studies of manipulated products. While FDA has so far approved 10 opioids with abuse-deterrent properties, such as pills that are difficult to crush or inject, the majority of opioids dispensed in the U.S. are generic, immediate-release formulations, and to date, the agency has not approved any generic opioids with abuse-deterrent properties. As part of efforts to increase transparency and generic drug competition, the FDA is publishing patent submission dates to help generic drug manufacturers determine the earliest date when they may be able to market new generics. FDA began collecting the patent submission date data in 2013, and the agency says there are about 4,000 patent records for which submission dates are available. The update is a result of a final rule from October 2016 known as Abbreviated New Drug Applications and 505(b)(2) applications, and FDA says the Orange Book will now publish patent submission dates for all new records going forward. FDA noted that NDA holders can email error correction requests, including justifications for the requests. Requests will be considered on a case-by-case basis and, if accurate, will be updated in the Orange Book as soon as is practicable, FDA said. The European Medicines Agency and the European Commission updated guidance for pharmaceutical companies on the UK's departure from the EU, much of which hinges on March 2019 deadlines. For instance, the guidance notes generic hybrid applications for which marketing authorizations will be granted after March 29, 2019, should refer to a reference product that is or has been authorized in a EU 27 member state or a contracting state of the European Economic Area. In addition, The guidance notes that bioequivalent studies conducted with a medicinal product sourced in the UK can be used in generic hybrid marketing authorization applications only if the marketing authorization is granted before March 30th, 2019. Data sourced from the UK while it was an EU member state can be taken into account to demonstrate that the active substances of a medicinal product in the claimed therapeutic indication and, for veterinary products, target species have been in well-established use within the Union for at least 10 years, with recognized efficacy and an acceptable level of safety, the guidance says. For orphan designation applications submitted after March 29, 2019, patients in the UK should no longer be taken into account in the calculation of the prevalence of the disease in order to meet the requirements for orphan drug designation, EMA and EC added. And after March 29, 2019, the guidance says that mentioning of a UK local representative in product information will also become obsolete. The International Council for Harmonization provided an update on recent and upcoming developments for Medical Dictionary for Regulatory Activities, or MedDRA, following a recent meeting of the MedDRA Management Committee in Geneva, Switzerland. MedDRA was initially developed by ICH in the late 1990s to provide standardized medical terminology for regulatory purposes and is available at no cost to regulators and to drug makers on a sliding scale based on the company's annual revenue. Beginning next year, ICH says subscription rates to MedDRA will drop again following a reduction in rates for 2017. With over 5,000 subscribing organizations in more than 110 countries, the cost of maintaining and developing the terminology can be distributed over a wider base, ICH writes. ICH also touted MedDRA's global training efforts in 2017, with free training provided to more than 3,000 participants via webinars and face-to-face sessions in Brazil, Canada, China, Europe, Mexico, Russia, and the US. Beginning in 2018, ICH says MedDRA will begin providing local language training support in countries in Central America and South Korea, and in China in 2019. ICH also announced MedDRA will be translated into Korean and Russian to bring the total number of languages the dictionary is available in to 13. Thank you for listening to Quicksand, Episode 8, December 4th, 2017.